Welcome back, my friends, to another What If with me, the True Sage. Today's episode is part 2 of a story I started years ago, but never finished. So here's the long-awaited What If Kuina Didn't Die, part 2. Before we start, please hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Let's get into it. We pick up in the middle of the ocean on a small fishing boat where we see an older Kuina fishing for food. Ugh, why is it so hard for you fish to take the bait? Ugh! Kuina yells and falls on her back, thinking, where am I even going? I don't have an updated map, just this old one Dad had. Now we flash back to the day she left her village. As she finishes packing her bag, her dad walks into the room. So, today is the day. Huh? 6 years of intense training in the way of the swordsman, and you were going to sneak out of here. Kuina doesn't turn to face her father. We can only see her scar from her last duel with Zoro. I'm sorry, Dad, but the world is huge, and out there somewhere is a sword for me and a path to my dream. And I can't do either here in this small village. I have to do this. I just have to. She finally turns toward her father with tears in her eyes, knowing she might not see him for a very long time. This is when her father reaches out to her for a hug. I love you, Kuina. Go follow your dream, and I'll be here waiting for you to return. While in her father's embrace, she asks him to do a favor for her, which we will find out about later. Back in the present day on the fishing boat, Kuina's pole starts to move. She finally has a bite. She hops up and grabs the pole. Oh, this must be a big one. I can feel it. Come on out. And the moment the fish comes out of the water, she sees it's not just any big fish. It's a sea king. Kuina can only stare at the sea king as it stares back until it moves forward too. The Sea King roars and rushes toward her with intent to kill. That's when Kuina unsheaths her sword and says, one sword style, hook moon slash. The attack hits the Sea King in its mouth, breaking all of its teeth. In shock at what just happened, the Sea King tears up, begins crying, and runs away into the sea. But as the Sea King jumps into the water, the impact causes Kuina's boat to flip over, sending her into the sea. While she's in the sea, falling deeper and deeper into its cold embrace, she starts to think about the day she left the village. On the last day, Kuina didn't make a big deal about leaving. The only person who knew was her father. But she wanted to tell Zoro that she was leaving. Maybe I should tell him, she thought to herself, running her finger down her cheek to feel the scar that Zoro left on her face. No, I can't. Not until I find a sword of my own, she thought again, before stopping in the field where they had their last duel. While standing in the middle of the field, the wind begins to blow, and a familiar face walks up beside Kuina. It turns out it's Zoro, covered head to toe in sweat and out of breath. I've been looking for you everywhere. Where the hell do you think you're going? Zoro yelled at Kuina. Suddenly, Kuina wakes up on a beach with her sword in hand. She sits up and looks around, wondering where she is. She lost all her supplies from the boat. The only thing she has is her sword, which isn't a problem. But she hasn't eaten in 3 days, and she's starting to feel it. Kuina walks along the coastline of the island she washed up on, wondering if there are people around, maybe a town or anything at this point. And then, as she walked, she suddenly stopped in her tracks. What's that sound? It's coming from deeper on the island, but I swear it's getting closer, she thought. Kuina stares deep into the woods as she sees trees moving and the sound getting closer and closer. She puts one hand on her sword and gets ready for whatever is coming out of the woods. Then, out of nowhere, a young man with no shirt on and an orange hat comes running out of the woods with 3 giant monkeys chasing him. Hey, you, run! These guys are pissed, the young man yelled to warn Kuina. But all this did was excite her. With her sword now in her hands, she uses two hands and prepares to use a new move she's been working on. One sword style, low moon tide slash. In the blink of an eye, the young man dodged the attack that took out two of the giant monkeys. The third, in shock and awe, calls for help, and two more monkeys show up behind Kuina, both holding trees to use as weapons. But Kuina is too slow to respond to the two of them behind her. Let's see what that devil fruit can do, Kuina heard the young man say as he jumped into the air. Fire fist. A fist of fire came out of the young man's hand, burning and knocking back all three of the giant monkeys, sending them further down the beach. In shock, Kuina turns around to look at the young man and asks him, "Why didn't you do that while they were chasing you?" The young man walks past her with his hat in his hand and replies, "If I did that, the woods might burn down, you idiot." Confused, Kuina asks, "Who are you calling an idiot? You don't even know my name." Ha 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 ha. The young man starts laughing. "That's right. I'm supposed to introduce myself to girls first, huh? My name is Portgas D. Ace. And that, my friends, will be the end of part 2. I'll be back with part 3 soon. In the meantime, do me a favor and hit the like button, subscribe, and share with every One Piece fan you know. Until next time, stay safe and follow your dreams.